what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind.
All right, we are good to go.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another FPVFC Town Hall. Got some interesting articles. I think some news articles are starting to come out on calls for FAAs, calls on the FAA to loosen restrictions, change some rules in regards to the NPRM. So I've got a couple articles on that. We've got some new DJI news. And but first up, I kind of wanted to take a look at this. I thought this was funny. I've known about this, I don't know, for probably a couple of months now. And yeah, maybe over a year. So Toyota wants to test support drones for off-road trucks and SUVs. So I thought this was pretty interesting. Toyota has been razor focused on cornering the off-road enthusiast market in recent years, revamping and reinventing its most popular adventure-ready models like the 4Runner, the Tacoma, and the Land Cruiser. But enhanced ground clearance, properly sized all-terrain tires, and a plethora of cameras can only go so far. That's why the Japanese automaker is investing in support drones for its future off-road operations, according to a document filed with the FAA. The document details a small drone support system that would be focused on enhancing situational awareness in unpaved trail environments. Naturally, Toyota says this off-road drone support system is intended to enhance driver safety. By providing the driver with views of the local environment, including potential hazards around and underneath the vehicles, drivers can plan safer routes and improve vehicle operations. At times, operators may fly a drone above the tree line to capture videos used to orient themselves or capture the terrain. Toyota cautioned the FAA that these kinds of flights would not be beyond visual line of sight flights, which typically require a more stringent degree of regulations. So if you're sitting in a vehicle, and I'm just throwing some shade here a little bit at this.
I'd say they have a little different definition of beyond visual line of sight than the FAA does.
That's kind of where I'm at. While some of these scouting flights will require climbing above the tree line, the letter claims that most drone operations would be conducted within the view of the operator, primarily in places where it's unsafe for the driver to exit the vehicle. So again, you're in the vehicle. I mean, it'd be cool. Like I've wanted this on my truck for a long time, where I could just tap into the head unit, which is already a fantastic display, right? Nice 7 or 8 inch display. New cars are coming with big 10-inch, 12-inch displays. Let's see. Extreme grade descents or steep climb features come to mind as off-road scenarios when close proximity drone usage would indeed benefit safety. The focus of Toyota's letter to the FAA revolves around the requirements that recreational drone operators may be held to under a proposed rule limiting distance and other airworthiness directives. As proposed, the automaker claims that the proposed Part 108 rule imposes airworthiness requirements that are too strict for most recreational operators to meet. Instead, Toyota believes the FAA should impose strict operational limits, such as restricting operations to sparsely populated areas and limiting flight to 150 feet above. Toyota, keep those recommendations to yourself, please. And scrap certain provisions of its aircraft requirements. I like that one. That said, Toyota still believes certain airworthiness features like air traffic identifying technology like ADS-B and a weight limit of 3 pounds or less. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's a little weird. That's all very technical aviation talk, but the crux of the letter is advocacy for off-road focused recreational drone operators. Realistically, a lot of that is not the direction you think it's going, Toyota. If you want some help with that, just reach out to us. The letter also reads, as a regulatory plea for its customer base of adventurers, drone usage within the off-road community has both grown in recent years and been subject to tightening regulations, forcing both adaptation and, in some cases, abandonment of the practice. A spokesperson for Toyota told Automotive News that the comment filed with the FAA and Department of Transportation isn't an admittance of any new product company, but rather a testament to the various forms of transportation that the automaker has invested in. So, not guaranteeing this is going to happen. Like I said, I've known about this for over a year from one of my buddies, and they've been talking about this for a while. But, I mean, some of the recommendations that they're saying is just as restrictive, if not more so. So,
Well, I'd say we don't necessarily agree on the details or the
mhm.
numbers that they're proposing.
I like where your head's at.
I think what they're trying to do is very similar to what we're trying to do and other recreational operators are trying to do. And like having Toyota lobby the FAA, like they would have way more money and lobbyists than others. And if we could get on the same page and work together, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's curious that this is not a lot more astute in aviation speak, in as much as Toyota has a division that produces an executive jet. So it's like, really? Can we just pick up the phone, guys?
Yeah, for sure. So, number one, not to point fingers, but these would definitely be BV lost flights. And if you just take 2 seconds, Toyota, and read through some of the regulations, obviously, if you're not in direct line of sight of that thing, FPV doesn't count according to the FAA for being in line of sight, which we disagree on with the FAA, but it still doesn't count. But yeah, restricting flights to 150 feet above, yeah, we ain't about that life. And sparsely populated areas also not about that life. So, yeah, I mean, ADS-B, like if you want to require that, like I'm of two. I don't really care. It's another situational awareness thing. Doesn't phase me one bit. It's extra crap on the aircraft that I'm not too keen about, but and definitely no weight limit. Like, yeah, that'd be a bad idea too. So
Yeah,
reach out to us if you want some advice, guys.
And we assume ADS-B would be ADS-B in as much as
Yeah.
the FAA has stipulated no ADS-B out.
It does say ADS-B
drones.
in that last sentence there.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, also coming out of this, we've got news organizations challenge the FAA drone rules that would end urban journalism. Now, this is coming from Drone XL. I've got a couple articles from them because honestly, right now, guys, Drone XL is putting out the best articles, and they're hard to find everywhere else. There's still a lot of saturation or lack of saturation on drone news from a lot of the main outlets. So, news organizations have formally challenged the FAA's proposed drone regulations before the October 6th comment deadline, warning that the rules would effectively ban aerial journalism in American cities and raise serious First Amendment concerns about government restrictions on news gathering. The News Media Coalition's challenge comes as press freedom advocates fight on multiple fronts against drone restrictions that increasingly target journalism while allowing government surveillance to flourish unchecked. The proposed Part 108 regulations would restrict news gathering drone operations to the Category 3 population density areas only. And by the way, that's the same category that recreational BV loss would be relegated to, effectively banning BV loss journalism in major metropolitan areas, shopping centers, and multifamily housing, according to News Media Coalition,
That's
which includes
not any different than it currently is. So it wouldn't make things any worse.
I mean, that's not true. I would disagree with that. Like, well, okay, yes. BV loss, yes, 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, because
But
they
they can
can't currently
still,
do BV loss unless they had some waiver for it, which they probably don't. So
right.
the new proposed rule doesn't change anything, doesn't make anything worse than
It
it
just means
currently
they
is.
can't
But
do BV loss. It would, relegate it back to, general Part 107 rules. News gathering operations can be conducted in only areas with moderate Category 3 population density. The coalition stated in its comments that would exclude major metropolitan areas, shopping centers, and multifamily housing. In practical terms, newsrooms could cover suburban HOA meetings, but not downtown protests, urban natural disasters, or breaking news where it actually happens. The FAA released its proposed Part 108 rules with the 60-day comment period closing October 6th. And while provisions don't mention news gathering specifically, they lump journalism into the aerial surveying category, along with commercial photography and videography.
now, to me, this admits that the news organizations are doing all their flights beyond visual line of sight right now. But
Yeah, and that's potentially true. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
but I also agree that they should be able to do that. But
right. I
yeah.
think, yeah, I would assert that if they've got waivers, they're probably better off now than they will be with 108, which will restrict to Category 3, which I think
Yeah.
all of us are not thrilled with the Category 1, 2, 3 in the BB loss NPRM.
Yeah. And I would tell you that, like, I mean, even not just multifamily housing, I would tell you standard suburban neighborhoods would probably be at risk here too,
Right.
just in terms of population density. So, but I mean, if you're flying under Part 107, this doesn't kill any of that. If you're flying Part 108, 100%. Beyond geographic limits, the proposed rule would impose operational restrictions fundamentally incompatible with journalism. Fleet caps. Newsrooms would be limited to 20 active BV loss drones maximum, including leased aircraft and subcontractors. Major news organizations operating across multiple markets would hit this ceiling immediately.
that would be really funny. It's like, okay, well, now they have to break up the giant news corporations so that they can fly more drones.
Weight
Actually,
limits.
they'd probably just split out the whole, like, there would be multiple different companies that fly drones and get footage that then sell it to the news organizations. But
Yeah, but that would technically fall under the subcontractor. So, yeah, I mean, it could definitely. You might be able to find a loophole there somewhere, but yeah, that's kind of taken up by that subcontractor specific. So weight limits, there is an increase, 110-pound maximum drone weight, up from Part 107's 55 pounds, though still requiring lighting and remote ID broadcasts. While I'm with you on the remote ID, like the lighting, like, I mean, yeah. Site-specific approval. Each area of operations requires FAA approval with specific geographic coordinates. The FAA's pre-operational approval process and requirements must account for breaking news, the coalition argued, noting that journalism can't wait days or weeks for site-by-site authorization. And personnel requirements. Operations supervisor and flight coordinator positions required, though not requiring pilot certificates, both subject to TSA background check and watch list screening. With you on that one too. Part 108 restrictions arrive amid escalating government efforts and to ground journalism drones while expanding official surveillance capabilities. Last week, Drone XL covered the National Press Photographers Association's condemnation of the massive Chicago TFR, the largest drone ban ever imposed in the United States at 935 square miles. The unprecedented flight restriction prevents journalism from using drones to document matters of a clear public concern. NPPA General Counsel Mickey Osterreicher stated October 5th, when the government imposes such broad and prolonged ban on news gathering, it risks turning security into a pretext for suppressing press freedom. The Chicago TFR echoes the 2004 Ferguson, Missouri no-fly zone during the Michael Brown protests. Audio recordings obtained by the Associated Press later revealed the truth. They finally admitted it really was to keep the media out. An FAA manager said of police requests to restrict airspace. Police did not care. If you ran commercial traffic through this TFR all day long, they didn't want media in there. So,
Yeah, this is an important article. Haye is a friend of ours, and as Josh was saying, Drone XL does great work. And the council noted this is the National Photographers Association, and these folks are serious photographers from across every major journal organization in the country. So this is not, a couple of guys in a back room. These are the major media outlets in the United States, and they're up in arms about a First Amendment issue. And I think they are spot on.
Meet in the YouTube chat's asking, what is the point of a cap? I think he was talking about maybe the cap on the number of drones that could be flown by an organization.
I believe that's, yeah, we can see no real good basis for the cap other than to create a delineation between the permitted and certificate splits in the Part 108. It just, the numbers are goofy. They're really low on the
it's arbitrary.
permitted side. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any logic to how it is. And as Haye inferred, the cost of personnel of running an operation is significant when you add in the reporting and recording estimates or workload in addition to the operational workload during a flight.
Yeah. So on that, we got TSA security rules could ground Walmart's drone delivery before it takes off.
How did Walmart ever get by with only having 25 drones?
Yeah, well, so the Transportation Security Administration has proposed security screening requirements that would require fingerprint background checks for retail employees who handle items, not handle the drones, but handle the items delivered by drones, potentially including every Walmart worker who stocks shelves. Industry leaders are pushing back hard, warning regulations could kill the drone delivery business just as it's gaining momentum. So think about that for a second. Product comes into the warehouse. Okay, let's start the supply chain way back. You've got if you're handling a product that goes to a drone delivery, right? You've got all the manufacturers that were involved in that. You've got the delivery drivers that deliver that to the stores. You got the people who unload the trucks. You've got the people who stock the shelves. You've got the person picking the order to go on that drone delivery. You got the person loading the drone. That's a lot of people to background check.
Say you ordered a little box of blueberries or something from Amazon. So does it go all the way back to the person who planted the seeds in the farm field? Does it go back to... You need fingerprints of the ox who first plowed that field 100 years ago?
It's just, to me, it's just TSA trying to validate their existence. Anyway, let's see. The proposed rule as part of the FAA's new Part 108 framework for beyond visual line of sight operations would treat 55-pound delivery drones the same as massive cargo planes. That means anyone touching a package destined for drone delivery, from warehouse workers to shelf stockers, could need TSA Level 3 background checks, including fingerprints, watch list screenings, and criminal history reviews. Adam,
as a reminder, everyone will recall in the BVLOS NPRM, TSA stated that they might decide to simply add additional requirements in the final rule. And as we pointed out and commented in our formal comments, that would be a violation of law. Here we go.
Yeah,
seems like
Adam,
just any excuse they can find to do more background checks and get more fingerprints and get more data on more citizens, they're going to try.
Yeah. All right, Adam Woodsworth, CEO of Alphabet-owned Wing, Walmart's drone delivery partner, called out the absurdity in stark terms. And he takes it a little further than I just did. As written today, everyone who walks into a Walmart would need to go through a TSA Level 3 background check, which is like fingerprints and stuff, because they could touch the macaroni and cheese on the shelf that's going onto an airplane that's now cargo for an airplane.
He's right. He's right. Yeah, because they anyone to come in contact with the cargo or the aircraft has to be vetted per the BVLOS NPRM. It's a good point.
It says more than 1 million public comments flooded the FAA during the 60-day comment period that closed October 6th. Amazon, Walmart, DoorDash, Wing, and Zipline all submitted opposition to TSA requirements. Walmart noted in its comments that people who pick and pack items for delivery don't have anything to do with flying drones and thus don't present a security risk. The retail giant warned the rules could ensnare hundreds of thousands of store associates across our current and future drone delivery markets who would need to undergo a TSA background check, even if their jobs may not regularly involve drone deliveries. Wing highlighted the operational nightmare in its submission, noting that the practical effect is that every goods supplier, package handler, and package loader supporting a drone delivery service would be required to visit a TSA enrollment center with a turnaround times of up to 60 days. For retailers with high turnover and seasonal worker, this creates an impossible compliance burden.
Yeah, I would say,
I
Josh, I assume
guarantee-
you know something about high turnover and having people that even work for 60 days.
Yeah. But also, I guarantee you those background checks are not going to be free.
Absolutely.
I mean, so not just a compliance burden, but a cost burden as well. Zipline, another major drone delivery operator, called the TSA requirements either redundant or wrong size for package delivery operations. DoorDash pointed out the obvious double standard. Other delivery modes like cars, bikes, and even pedestrians face no similar security requirements.
So what's somewhat ironic here is we lamented to the FAA that the BVLOS NPRM was directed and focused on helping package delivery segment of the market, what we estimated to be a fraction of 1% of pilots today. And not even the package delivery companies are happy with the BVLOS NPRM.
Yeah. So we got Representative Dina Titus from Nevada and Representative Rudy Yakum of Indiana, who lead the Congressional Unmanned Systems Caucus, want TSA to withdraw its proposed rules entirely and start over with actual industry consultation. According to a spokesman for Representative Titus, TSA entered the FAA's rulemaking process at the 11th hour without any industry outreach. Preach. The federal government shutdown that began October 1st has prevented both agencies from responding to requests about the controversy.
As Meat points out in the comments, so what about how many people like Amazon employees that then wouldn't pass the background check enough to be able to touch any product in the store?
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for totally unrelated, like not would otherwise normally be just fine working their job.
Right. Our country has an extraordinarily high incarceration rate. So the probability of people working in retail with a record is very high. So it's a good question.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of dumb. Again, I just go back to TSA just trying to justify their own existence at this point. Yeah, so there's that. TSA rules. So I haven't actually read the TSA requirements at this point. Has anybody seen those? Like beyond the we will add stuff? Like
it's a call out 1504-7, or I'm sure I'm transcribing numbers, but I have not gone other than national security reasons. I didn't see a lot that was very specific.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. We got the FCC. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to say, just kind of an interesting fact. The TSA also vets people that fly within stadium TFRs. So, when we conduct flights within, the stadium, NFL, MLB events, the entire manifest, the entire waiver actually gets vetted through TSA as well for that. And that's for all purposes, whether it's media or public safety.
Interesting.
Well, and to a certain regard on that, Rob, like I can understand that to a point, but requiring every person that works in a retail facility that wants to do drone delivery just doesn't make sense.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Flying within a TFR and retail delivery are two very different, distinct topics.
100%. And I just feel like that's goofy. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we've got the
I think
Go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say I concur. Yeah, I think that's. I hope that's revised in the final rule.
I think we all do. I think the whole rule just needs to be thrown out and restarted at this point. But with some actual industry, insight into it, whether it's recreational or commercial, or obviously nobody is happy with this rule at this
Somebody
point.
is.
Somebody might be, but like,
You
please
be
stand
aside?
up. Like, show me who you are. Like, it doesn't. Yeah, maybe them, but that's a whole nother ball game. All right, FCC to vote on new safeguards. Could existing models of DJI drones be affected? So the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission has announced a new vote aimed at closing what it describes as loopholes in existing regulations governing equipment produced by companies considered security risk. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr said October 7th that the commission will consider new rules to prohibit the continued import, sale, or marketing of previously authorized devices from entities on the FCC's covered list, such as Huawei, and Hikvision,
Huawei.
to extend prohibitions to component parts included within other authorized products. The proposal represents an expansion of the FCC's ongoing effort to secure U.S. communications infrastructure from potential foreign surveillance or interference. Up to now, FCC regulations have not prevented covered list providers from continuing to sell previously authorized device models, Carr said, nor have they applied to a device's component parts. This month, the FCC will vote on closing these loopholes and providing the agencies with new tools to safeguard our networks from insecure spy gear.
Now, I could be wrong, but I always thought the FCC's role was to say, inspect the equipment and make sure that it was broadcasting signals in a way that followed the regulations, as such as like don't cause interference or follow those kinds of rules. Not, hey, we don't like this country or this company because it's from this country, so we're just not going to authorize them. I didn't realize that was in the checklist of things they were looking for.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that either.
I'm not sure it is, but
yeah, I mean, realistically, I thought, hey, let's just make sure not cause interference on channels where maybe lives depend on it, right? Or that kind of thing. So, while the FCC announcement does not name new companies beyond those currently listed, the timing raises questions within the drone industry about how such expanded rules might interact with language in the fiscal year 2025 NDAA. That legislation calls for the FCC to add DJI to its entity list if a security review determines a company poses a national security risk, or if such a review is not conducted at all. Oh, geez. The ultimate gotcha right there. Until now, the most interpretations of the NDAA provision have suggested that the restrictions would apply primarily to new DJI models introduced after a potential FCC determination, allowing existing fleets to continue operating. However, the FCC's proposed rule to extend prohibitions to previously authorized devices could broaden the scope considerably. If adopted and later applied to DJI, could theoretically prevent the continued import or sale of existing drone models already cleared for use, or even restrict devices that include DJI components.
So let's say you currently have a DJI FPV system and it loses its FCC license, and now you're flying using equipment that's no longer allowed to be used in the United States, right? You could potentially find or be fined or get in trouble for doing that, right?
I believe the operator
but...
is culpable. I think it extends beyond the manufacturer in FCC regs. I think it's worth following up.
Yeah, I would disagree with you, Dan. I think the biggest concern is even with FAA enforcement, with flagrant, blatant violations that probably everybody on this call has witnessed at some point, there's a lack of capability in terms of staffing for that enforcement. So I can't even imagine how it would look on the FCC side. I've never seen the FCC police. So
yeah, I can't imagine they would actually do anything, but it would probably be another thing tacked on to you if you were caught.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It would be people would be made an example out of, but I just don't see how they would have the capability to go out there proactively dealing with, thousands, hundreds of thousands of drone operators.
And I would agree with you, Rob. I would say that, as evidenced by our tacking on of random charges by the FAA, just for, charge escalation, I would say if you got caught for something else, this would probably be a additional tacked on charge, right?
Or let's say somebody doesn't want the media to be filming some protest somewhere. Now they say, hey, I see you're flying a DJI whatever drone from 2 years ago. Did you know that that's illegal to fly these days? And now they go after the
I don't know that they could
reporters.
retroactively do that, but I mean,
No, I mean, like, if they remove DJI's FCC license for all their previous drones,
mhm.
and then the next day a journalist is using it to cover a protest or
Oh,
something,
yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
the law enforcement could go after them for that, and then
Yeah.
they would try to scare journalists then from using their DJI drones to cover any events after that.
And I would say also that, like, there's a level of precedence for going back to the end user is culpable. Like Dave was saying, like, I could get a Baofeng radio, I can buy that, and it's up to me to use that correctly, right? And not press the transmit button or whatever the case may be on those radios if I'm not licensed to do so. And yeah, but I don't require a license to purchase it. I just, you know what I'm
You
saying,
can't
right, Dave?
transmit. You can. That's exactly right. You can receive. You just cannot transmit unless you have a ham radio license and you're transmitting on the correct ham licenses.
Right.
The one thing I tried to suggest to folks is that I agree with Rob that the enforcement on the FCC is, from what we see, non-existent. However, we caution folks to not exceed the 1 watt limit when they're transmitting for FPV, because if you annoy enough ham radio operators in your area, one of the things that they do is for fun is they triangulate and locate high wattage or transmitters that are not operating within spec and or within regs, and they'll turn them into the FCC. So after a lot of finagling, you could get a fine. But so is there enforcement on this stuff? Pretty weak, pretty weak.
Yeah.
But don't be that guy transmitting 5 watts, in a populated area. It would be my recommendation.
So we've got FCC's vote is expected later this month, though current government shutdown will delay action. If adopted, the commission would begin a rulemaking process to implement new restrictions and seek further comment on expanding prohibitions to a broader class of foreign-controlled equipment and components. We'll keep an eye out for that. This wouldn't be the first FCC rulemaking that we've responded to. So. So, hey, that's super fun. We've also got DJI still grounded, and a possible complete ban of Chinese drones and parts. So if that doesn't make your head shake, a decision that will have major impacts on the drone market. A federal judge has ruled that DJI must stay on the list of Chinese military companies, a designation that will keep DJI from selling drones domestically. The FCC has also proposed adding more companies to the list of banned products, though they have not made it clear which companies might be on the list. The issue, or at least the supposed issue, is that the U.S. government wants to eliminate spying on critical infrastructure. Huawei is another company on the list, with the suspicion being that Huawei phones have a backend that would allow the Chinese government to spy on users. This is not the only hurdle DJI faces. DJI is subject to a review by the U.S. National security agencies by the end of the year, and if it's not completed, DJI will be automatically added to a list of companies that are prevented from getting certified to operate in the United States. Unfortunately for DJI, that review is not guaranteed, although we hear it might be taking place, but without action, DJI will most certainly be prohibited from selling drones in the United States permanently. It's also not the only hurdle faced by the drone industry. The Commerce Department, under the guidance of the Trump administration, is pushing to ban all Chinese-made drones and components. As reported by Reuters, The Commerce Department in January said it could also target for restrictions drone systems like onboard computers, communications, and flight control system, ground control stations, operating software, and data storage. The result will be a complete and total ban, not only DJI drones, but also any other Chinese drones, parts, or technology. So, again, I'm going to reiterate my claim every time we come across something like this. What is the alternative? What infrastructure have we put in place that says this is the alternative once we do this? Stop putting the cart before the horse. FCC has announced it is working on plans to remove previously authorized device certifications, preventing the products currently available from the U.S. from being imported, sold, or even marketed. The government has provided no proof to indicate that DJI drones are engaged in spying. DJI also argues that if they offer a local data-only mode that disables all internet connectivity on demand, and that they have offered independent auditors to review their equipment. Many in the drone community think the move is more about stifling competition than protecting infrastructure. What competition? What competition are you stifling? You're just literally stopping everything. The argument about Chinese cell phones seems like a good one to me whatever on that. Personally, I'm much less convinced that DJI drones are being used to spy on things via the technology they use, though individuals have been caught flying drones near military installations. The continued grounding of DJI drones means that emergency rescue operations will be curtailed. Creators will have to seek alternative drones. What alternative drones? Normal people can't get the ones that are supposedly out there. I mean, we've got Skydio. I'm a normal person. I can't buy one. So yeah,
There's some of the work that we've done this past year has been to visit large drone events. These are business events, not fun flies like Rotor Riot Rampage, but AUVSI, Expo, and meetings like this. Alex was able to get in front of Department of Commerce. They followed up with a request for a presentation. Alex and I briefed these folks on the damage a DJI ban would likely do. So, of course, DJI and others have articulated this very well, but this was yet another organization, us, talking about recreational as well as commercial and sizing the industry and the damage that these bans with DJI can do. So these were sensible people with good questions. We'll see if anything, if calmer minds prevail. But these days in the federal government, that's a rare item. So we'll keep working at it. We'll keep explaining to folks who ask good questions in the government, and hopefully we can get some common sense into this work.
Yeah. And again, I'm not knocking like U.S. companies who want to produce drone products. If you're going to produce them, make them competitive.
Make it something that individuals can buy.
Want to buy.
Yeah. Right now, the alternative is if you can get something, it costs way more and it has less features and it doesn't work as well. So why would you want to do that?
Exactly. It's literally DJI has realistically cornered the market on supply, on affordability, on features. Okay, so if you're a U.S. drone manufacturer and you want to help resolve this issue, then focus on those three. Make it affordable, make it feature rich, things people actually want, not just features for the sake of saying, hey, we have features. Okay, and make it available for people. Like, it's that simple. I know it's not simple monetarily wise, but it is literally that simple. If you want to be competitive, be competitive. But this is literally just, at this point, it's like, we want to stifle competition. Well, you're not competitive. So, let's figure that part out first and make it worth it for the average citizen to obtain one of these.
Yeah, if we were talking about two very similar capable drones, but one costs less because it was built in China, and you put tariffs or block them or whatever, so you can buy the U.S. made one that's a little more expensive, or the tariffs or whatever make it equal. Okay, that's a plan. But
Yeah.
when you can't buy something that technically is as equal, no matter how much you spend.
Yeah. 100%.
Exactly.
Like, I
Exactly.
would happily spend, and I get that there's a made in USA tax, right? And I think everybody understands that things are more expensive. We have labor laws and everything that requires us to pay people, a fair wage. And I agree with that. But literally, like, you can't make it thousands upon thousands of dollars more expensive. I mean, $5,000 versus 500 is not sustainable. People are not going to buy your product. So let's figure out a way to scale that and get
And
that
like
out.
Bits Byte says in the YouTube chat, like there are no U.S. made consumer drone manufacturers. They simply do not exist. And
I mean,
there are
there
some,
are.
but not that compete with DJI.
No, and almost everybody right now is focused on defense technology, not citizen technology.
Right.
So, plain and simple. So, because everybody wants to be, the next supplier for the U.S. military for drones. Totally understand that. But like, let's get some citizens and recreational flyers out there that can fly these things instead of and be your next generation of pilots that make your business successful.
Yeah, who's
That's what
supposed to be
DJI
able to learn how to fly these drones that they can't buy to to learn how to fly? But yeah, and all the emergency responders, like what drones are they going to be able to purchase and use?
100%. It's your tax dollars going to all the more expensive alternatives that don't pack the same punch as something 10 times less expensive. So anyway, U.S. blacklist 15 more Chinese companies over drone parts for Hamas and Houthis. Nobody, I just wanted to reference this. Nobody I recognize inherently from this list. So we've got a couple that are just addresses. I feel like I've heard of Aero Electronics.
I
But
like Beijing Kevin's technology development. Hey, Kevin.
Kevin, you're banned. Sorry, Kevin. We got Rage Flight. I've never heard of them. Feng Bao, Gansu Shuli, Good View Global.
Is Fang Bao related to Bao Fang?
It might be. I mean, they're already doing radio communication, so wouldn't throw it past them. We got Good View. Unfortunately, Good View, your view's not so good anymore because you've been banned. We've got Bitcoin. So
this also brings to note it's been in the news that DJI has created a number of shell companies and is working to try to bring product into the United States via other names. So I can't hate them for that. I mean, they're doing everything legally. They're bringing not breaking any laws. They're just bringing them in through new subsidiaries, and these are shell companies that are not called DJI.
Yeah, 100%. We've got 9 entries from Turkey, and then we've got 1 from the UAE. So a couple different places that have now been added to the ban list for electronics / drone stuff for supplying drone components to terrorist organizations. So there's that. That was a quick one. And then we've got this one here. This is Airbound. I feel like we've seen this design before and not seen it really take off. Haha, flight pun. But this is coming out of India. So after years of lofty promises and underwhelming or at least limited results, drone delivery might finally be approaching its turning point. This breakthrough might not come from Silicon Valley, but from Bengaluru, India. There, a startup called Airbound has just secured $8.65 million in seed funding and a critical partnership that could validate what the industry has been chasing for over a decade: genuine unit economics that actually work. Airbound seed round. The seed round, led by Lockheed Groom, co-founder of Physical Intelligence, includes participation from heavyweight VCs Lightspeed Venture Partners and Humba Ventures. The other institutional investors betting on Airbound include senior leaders from Tesla, SpaceX, and Anduril. This brings Airbound total funding to over $10 million following their pre-seed round last November. To be fair, that's modest compared to the billions poured into drone delivery efforts by larger players, but Airbound's approach suggests they might be solving the problem more efficiently from the ground up. So the drawbacks of current delivery drone designs. So multi-rotor drones can take off and land vertically, making them perfect for urban environments, but they're energy hogs, burning through battery power just to stay airborne, which severely limits their range and payload capacity. Fixed-wing drones are far more efficient in flight, but require runways or complex launch recovery systems, making them impractical for most delivery scenarios. I would take issue with that. I think I would take Zipline as a company who has nailed this 100%. So they're doing good work there. Hybrid solutions like tilt rotors or quad planes that have tried to bridge this gap, but they typically carry the weight penalties of both systems without fully capturing the benefits of either. The result, delivery drones or delivery costs that remain stubbornly high, regulatory headaches, and business models that only work in narrow use cases or with significant subsidies. Aerobound's design could be a game changer. It's a blended wing body design that merges the fuselage and wings into a single lifting surface, improving aerodynamic efficiency. It's a concept that aerospace engineers have toyed with for decades. Boeing and NASA have explored it for passenger aircraft. It hasn't been widely used, though, because it's notoriously difficult to manufacture and control. The tail sitter configuration means the aircraft sits vertically on its tail for takeoff and landing, then transitions to horizontal flight. This eliminates the need for runways while avoiding the efficiency penalties of carrying separate lift and cruise propulsion systems. With it, Airbound has achieved a payload to aircraft mass ratio of 1 kilogram to 1.5 kilograms. That means for every 1.5 kilograms the drone weighs, it can carry 1 kilogram of cargo. That's roughly the double the ratio of typical delivery drones that enables what Airbound claims are delivery costs 20 times lower than conventional means. Company's proprietary carbon fiber manufacturing process has enabled rapid scaling. Company spokesperson told the Drone Girl that they're now producing aircraft daily. So, I
think this article misses the point. I think it starts out and where I think this is an important article in that it's like, oh, someone's broken the code financially. And then she goes into, well, the issue is technical. I'm not buying it. And what Josh just said, Zipline has proven that they've designed two dramatically different models, one in Uganda, one for the rest of the world, in more urban settings. One is a fixed wing, the other is a quadcopter or a multi-rotor. The key, I think, in this company could be successful because they've cleverly selected the segment, just like Zipline did in Uganda. Uganda was about shipping blood. And so they really needed to do it. And so you can charge a premium for that. That's what allows you to have this exotic drone delivery capability. You can't, you're going to deliver a cup of coffee. We don't see it. Don't see the economics behind it. As far as the BWB and the technology, I think there's some really bright and capable and great aircraft flying from both Zipline and Google Wing, and to say that this thing looks like it would weigh a fair amount, and it's as hard as can be. So if this hits you, ooh, that's that would not be a good result. Whereas if a Google Wing, a styrofoam fuselage hits you, it's not that big an issue.
I can't imagine this would pass all the Part 108 regulations for BV loss.
Agreed.
Well, and even considering why carbon fiber, let's go there. If you want a cost savings, build this thing mostly out of foam, and
right.
and then carbon fiber supports. Let's go back to a traditional actual recreational wing. It's foam with carbon fiber parts or spars, right? And maybe you have to do something for the cargo delivery system, but if you want to make it even cheaper, go foam. And it's going to make it safer. It's going to solve a lot of other problems that make this actually scalable. So, but I mean, hey, if you like to do curved surface carbon fiber work, congratulations, you nailed it.
Yeah, if you're
Um,
a CATIA modeler, this is a nice model for CATIA.
so these guys are also trying to nail the medical logistics space.
Right.
So they're trying to focus in on that and less drone actual like commerce delivery kind of stuff. But yeah, so the broader delivery landscape, airbound enters a market that's simultaneously heating up and consolidating. So Wing has completed hundreds of thousands of deliveries in regions including Australia and the US, but remains focused on relatively light package. Zipline has delivered millions of medical products, largely in developing countries, with some additional U.S. success, but uses a fixed wing design with parachute delivery. They have another one that's a little more inherent towards urban areas. Now we got Amazon Prime Air continues testing, but has yet to achieve meaningful scale after nearly a decade of development. Nailed that one. If you guys remember last time, we covered a couple of crashes here in Arizona. I think they're back up and running. And I maybe figured out how to order drone delivery on Amazon now. So if I can nail that and I'm home, I'll get some video of that.
Excellent.
And then Drone Up and Fly Trucks and others are carving out niches in specific market, but haven't achieved anywhere near true mass market viability.
Right.
So, yeah, it's drone
Follow the
delivery for e-commerce is meh at best. I just don't think it makes a ton of sense, but
medical delivery, right? Blood,
yeah, like
organs, follow the money.
yeah. So realistically, like I get that, especially in rural, underserved communities, that kind of stuff where they don't have access to infrastructure. 100%,
And
like
right,
all about that life.
yeah, the roads. Think lousy roads, and that'll do it to you. And that's across large parts of India, large parts of the continent of Africa.
Yep. So but yeah, I mean, like I feel like we've seen this design, 10 years ago on proposed delivery drones and proposed, all kinds of other things. And I mean, I'm sure they're great, but it's not gonna fly, commercially in urban areas because that thing's gonna.
Yeah, what's good to me is that India is so large and they have an economy that is growing, and they have millions of engineers. So if this could start to push the drone industry in India, great. Well, that's good.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got, gentlemen. What do you guys have, Dave?
Nothing. Well, we submitted our Beyond Visual Line of Sight NPRM comments about a week ahead of schedule. Got the confirmation that they went in, and I have not checked recently, but I saw in the magnitude of 2,000 sets of comments. I think I'm hoping that folks read and utilized and got behind the Pilot Institute work that we did with Drone Advisory Council, and which includes Pilot Institute, to write up an alternative. And so I think we've covered a number of different topics on that, and we'll work it from here. We'll see what we'll also see if the FAA comes out with a rule within their target date of, I think it was March, April 2026. So we understand that we're in week 3 of a federal government shutdown, and a lot of the people we work with in the FAA are furloughed. So
we have 1,025,004 comments on that. So
that's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, same here. That's a good thing.
Wasn't there just a couple thousand like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2,000. There were 1,000. Yeah, 1,800. That's exactly right.
1 million? That doesn't.
Yeah,
What?
something feels a little funny about that, doesn't it, Dan? Like someone started automating responses.
And what did we have? Like 50,000 or something on the
53,000 with remote ID.
remote ID?
Yeah, and that was the largest the FAA had ever seen by a factor of 10.
There's
So-
no way there's more people. There's that many more. 1 million versus 50,000? No.
Some smells here.
I don't think the FAA's system could even take 1 million comments and survive.
Well, if you click into it, and that's the funny thing, I clicked into it. There's only 40 pages of comments with
Yeah, about
on
20.
this, and so I have
3,091 results.
3,091.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds very plausible.
yeah.
Maybe 1 million words.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely not seeing 1 million here. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
then it
it's got
says,
document comments 3,000 3.09 thousand.
yeah, that other number had to be something else or just wrong.
Some wrong coding.
They
So
asked AI to summarize how many comments we got, and it said 1 million.
so just in case you're curious, there's a whole bunch of comments there. Not nearly as much as I thought we'd get more than that, but
Yeah.
so all right. Dan, you got anything for us this evening?
No, all the drone-related news I saw was either the DJI stuff we mostly covered or all like war and military-related stuff. So
Yeah.
no, nothing else.
I do. There's an interesting article for those who are interested in something, and I will pop this up if I still have it floating around. I think I do. It's not something. It was a very long article, so I didn't, pull it. But an interesting article from a website called War on the Rocks, and I fought. So the article is called "I Fought in Ukraine, and Here's Why FPV Drones Kind of Suck."
Oh yeah, that was from earlier this summer or spring,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
from
It was a
June
while ago.
2020, June 26th. I hadn't seen it before. So it's written by a gentleman who, let me see if I can snag his name. If you
Yeah.
haven't read it, it's worth reading.
If I remember right, there were a lot of comments on it that were very critical of the author and what they were saying.
Yes.
Well, and again, it's an opinion piece, right? But some of the things that he talked about was misuse of the drone technology, commanders not understanding it, the use of them when something else would have been a much better option, and then some of the drawbacks of using fiber optic cables to skirt electronic warfare, basically jamming and stuff like that. So anyway, it's an interesting article. If you haven't read it, it's worth a read. Just a different level of perspective, because everybody's like FPV drones amazing, and
they are, but not a panacea.
But also, not, as everybody knows, I'm not a huge fan of using this amazing technology that we all love for, let's kill our fellow man with it. But, shit happens, I guess. So, yeah. Anywho, that's all I got. Rob, you got anything?
Nothing groundbreaking this week.
All right. Cool, guys. Well, that takes us almost right up to the hour. So appreciate you guys joining us. Love the comments. And if I need to be more snarky, let me know. Feel like I'm pouring it on, but realistically, guys, some of this stuff makes me just batshit insane. So I just don't understand what people think most of the time. So if you got anything you want us to cover something, let me know. I always love going out there and finding these articles, but if I miss something, if we miss something, please get in touch with us. Let us know if you want to make a recommendation. I can't guarantee I'm going to use it, but at the same time, I would love to see what you guys are reading and what you guys find informative and effective. But yeah, With
Uh,
that, guys, go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say there was one comment I missed way at the beginning where someone was asking, "What do you all think about U.S. drone? I keep seeing it on YouTube." I don't remember. Did we maybe cover that a while ago? Like there was a bunch of YouTube ads for some U.S. made drone.
And it's called U.S. Drone?
No, he says, "Well, what do you think about U.S. drone? I keep seeing it on YouTube." I'm not sure exactly which one that is, but there must be. I feel like Alex brought it up once a while ago. Like a lot of YouTube ads would have this, or maybe people were trying to promote some U.S. made drone. But I'm not sure which one Nick here was talking about.
Yeah, Nick, if you've got a company name or something, I mean, I'm happy to look into it.
Yeah, mostly our view on we're completely with Josh. If there's a specific, let us know. But in general terms, or I should say, all of the U.S. drone manufacturers that we know utilize some components that are made in China. So it's our view is until we're able and capable in this country of designing something that's better, don't ban what we're using to save lives and be productive at a good margin. So it's we are very pro, and we work with a number of manufacturers in the drone industry. Some of it is very capital intensive, and we can do in this country today. We've got the technology to do everything, barring the graphics. So the video is still elusive in terms of what DJI delivers in terms of density and penetration and range, and delivering it all in they're all in one package. We've got low latency. The eminent vendor there is HD0, but incredible video, great frame rate, great penetration, great range. That's DJI.
Uh-oh.
Dave doesn't have very great range. Oh, he's back. You cut out right as you said that.
I guess I have to pay that internet bill, huh?
Oh, it's funny. Got less stuff in the house for your signal to bounce off of.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you again in another couple of weeks. We're coming up on holiday time, so just be aware. We'll look at the schedule. We'll see what's going on. We will try not to schedule these during that all-important family time that everybody loves and needs. So if one of our town halls comes up against Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, I haven't really taken a look, but obviously it will come up against Thanksgiving. Guys, spend that time with your family, not with us. Although we consider you guys family, your immediate family is much more important. So just be on the lookout for that. Maybe that might fall on one of the off weeks. We'll find out, but just keep that in mind. That season is coming up, and we want you to spend that time with your family. They're the most important things out there. So. But with that, guys, thanks for joining us. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate the comments. Let me know if I missed anything, and we'll see you again in another 2 weeks.
So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.